Well, well, well. Oh, I can talk through the mask. What do you think? This sounds pretty good, huh? All right, gang. My name is Mr. Sheehan. Oh, that's a little loud, isn't it? And I'm one of the assistant principals. I'm the assistant principal for the 10th and the 12th grade class. You guys as the 9th grade class. I'm going to introduce Miss Deacon in a minute. But we have a little orientation program for you this morning where a number of people are going to speak to you about school and what school's going to be like. As you can kind of see, this is a very different experience right now today. And we'll have some activities that we're going to plan for you a little bit. We've got a speaker that's going to come in and talk to you. We've got a little bit of a video. Eventually. Maybe I lost it. Marina, I lost it. I lost your toes, Marina. And then I have a number of mentors over here who are going to give you a tour at the end of when this session is over. And then the tour is going to wrap up at the cafeteria where you'll pick up your iPads. Does that make sense? But I just want to say welcome. I'm excited for the school year. I'm excited to have you guys in front of us, which is kind of neat. It's been a long time since we've had students in this building. So it should be fun, it should be exciting, and it should be different. But with that, I'm going to introduce your class administrator, which is Miss Deacon. Miss Deacon?
Thank you, Mr. Sheehan. Thank you. Good job, Doug. You're right on that. We have students in the booth helping us out, students here helping us out, Mr. Middleton, making sure we all have safe microphones. We all have our own microphones. Hey, welcome, class of 2024. Are you excited to be here? Wait. Are you awake? Is anyone awake? I know this is different, but we're going to make the best of this. We're still going to have fun, right? Let me see your eyes smile. I know I can't see your faces, but let me see your eyes smile. This is a great place. You're all done the middle school, and here we are. We're at Burlington High School. You're going to have a great experience, albeit a little different, but we are excited. As Mr. Sheehan said, we have a great program here for you today. I would like to say a personal thank you to all the mentors who have given up their day today to come and help you, to make sure you're comfortable here at BHS, to walk you around. We have some one-way hallways. Yeah, let's give them a hand. Thank you, mentors. Yeah. It's also different for them this year as well, right? Getting used to all the one-way hallways and things like that, but we'll figure it all out. We'll figure it all out together. And that's what we have to do. We have to make sure that we all work together and we all help each other out. And some of those little things that we have to do to help each other out are to social distance as best we can. And I know that's hard. I know I spoke to some of you this morning. You already look like you're upperclassmen, and with the masks, I couldn't tell. And you were all here nice and early, so that was great. But we need to always wear our masks, and we need to social distance as much as possible so that we all stay healthy and safe, and that we can continue to come into school in our hybrid format and do some learning. So we have quite the lineup, so I'm not going to waste too much time because you have a whole bunch of other people over here that want to speak with you. And I'm going to go out into the main lobby and hope that our guest speaker is here because you're in for a treat today with Mr. Ed Garrity. He's amazing, and he's going to welcome you to BHS as well. And we're going to have a great time today. All right, so if you have any questions, I am your administrator. My office is down the hall from the main office. Mr. Sheehan is in the office right next to me, so if I'm not there, he'll be happy to help you. Detective Fournier's office is there as well, and he'll welcome you as well. So have a great day. Please let us know if you have any questions, okay? Welcome to BHS, class of 2024. Woo! Dog. Nice job. See, I go to speak and she turns me right back on. So I guess at this time, I'm going to have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Sullivan, your principal, to you, principal of BHS.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mr. Sullivan. Okay, we'll get used to that. So I think March 12th is the last time that any of you were actually in a school. That's a very long time. So I know it's probably a mix of emotions being back in a school building today, especially given these circumstances. Everyone is, masked up, socially distanced. Strange days indeed, all right? This will pass, okay? This is the day that we typically say, welcome your first official class meeting, class of 24. So welcome half of class of 24 this morning. This will not last forever. Hopefully it's a relatively short period of time that we have to do this here at the high school. I've really been stressing with teachers here in the building, flexibility, patience, and grace, okay? all the kids that are coming back to this hybrid model of schooling indicates that we have a tremendous amount of kids that want to come back to school, which is great. I recognize, staff recognizes, I'm sure your parents recognize, there's probably a lot of anxiety, a lot of fears, a lot of mixed emotions about returning to a building. Everyone's in a different place. So we as a school have taken a lot of proactive steps to keep everybody safe, to keep everybody healthy. They're not ideal. They're not conducive to the way that teenagers typically make their way through this building, or how they're in classes with one another, or how they eat lunch with one another. But we're doing the best we can, and all these protocols are put into place so that we can keep schools open as long as possible and keep everybody safe. So it's great everyone's wearing a mask today. As you make your way around the building, just be mindful about socially distancing. We have hand sanitizer throughout the building, making sure you wash your hands frequently. Those are going to be all important things over the next several months if we want to keep the schools open and have in-person classes. Today's a day that I always would stress you to get involved. The high school has a lot of extracurricular activities. We have fantastic athletic programs. We have a lot of different ways in which you can engage with your peers, with coaches, with teachers in settings outside the classroom. Unfortunately, a lot of those have put on hold or are not running this fall, but engage with your academics this fall. Right? You're going to be home half the time more. Make sure that you are still getting up on time, that you're participating with the remote aspect of your teachers, you're logging into the Google Classroom during the class periods, and you're staying up to date with your work. Okay, I know, again, March 12th is a long time to not be in school. To transition into the high school, which is a whole different educational and curricular way of doing things than the middle school, is going to be a steep learning curve for a lot of you. There are office hours built in. I encourage you to reach out to your teachers. You're going to meet a lot of your guidance counselors today. Reach out to them. Reach out to administration if you're having any problems. Okay, if you're having issues accessing things from home, if you're having trouble keeping up, if you're just stressed or anxious, reach out for support. Okay, we're here to help you. We're here to make your experience at this high school the best it can be. Okay, again, this isn't going to last forever. I look forward to a day when we're not wearing masks, when we can not have to worry about socially distancing, and we can get back to our normal ways of operating this high school. But I want to thank you in advance for adhering to all the safety protocols. And just be mindful, I think when you're in your classrooms, it's one thing, it's easy to do because the desks are all spaced out. But as you kind of work through the building, just make sure that you're mindful about, going carefully and slowly. We have more passing time between the classes this year, and we do have directionals in the hallways. Just be mindful of the traffic patterns and not congregating in groups within the school. All right, so welcome to Burlington High School, class of 24. I'm around all day, so if you're moving around and had questions, please just stop and ask me whatever you would like. And with that, I believe it is Mr. Hart, our...
If I let guidance go before me, there'll be nobody awake. So, hey, my man, way up in the back, what's your name? What? Steven? Steven, these masks stink, right? You got to be loud, right? You got to be able to project, right? What's your name up there? Rhea? I love that. All right, can you hear me without this? Okay, I'm just making sure, because usually I'm very soft. Athletics this year takes on a whole new meaning in the school. As Mr. Sullivan was just talking about, some of the opportunities given the normal school day after school, some of those things have changed because of the social distancing, because of the way we're going to do business. Athletics this year has changed a bit as well. There will be 4 seasons for the first time ever, and you have the ability now to actually participate in all 4 seasons if you choose, okay? This coming fall, we're offering boys and girls soccer, boys and girls cross country, field hockey, and what am I missing? I know, but what am I missing? Boys and girls soccer, field hockey, cross country, and golf. Not really a sport, but golf. All right. And golf. I mean, come on, seriously, sport. Stop it. Anyway, So we have them all being offered. So what I'm going to say to you, and I know that these guys are going to say the same thing, is that in this particular year, we always kind of preach to you guys about getting involved, okay? Again, takes on a whole different meaning this time. Athletics can be a great outlet for you after school to meet people and be part of it, okay? It's an opportunity to get out of your house. It's an opportunity to get out and do something that you haven't been able to do. And some of you have done it all summer, but some of you haven't done it at all. So if you want an opportunity, take the opportunity now because it's given to us and there's some flexibility in our schedule, okay? What I'm going to say to you is this, and I go, these guys are going to say the same thing. Checking your emails all the time is super important now. Because we're going to see you less, we are going to send things out, big blast emails that give you all the information that you need to know, okay? And if you're not checking your email, and I know, and those guys will tell you over there, some people check their email religiously. Some people will not check their school email but once a week. If you do that now, you are going to miss out on things that are happening because there's no other way to get you information, okay? So as a freshman class coming in this year, I will tell you that I will be sending out a blast email tomorrow that will give you all of the updates for all of the tryout times, the tryout locations, and next week we will be holding Zoom meetings, giant informational Zoom meetings for anyone interested in any sport. And they'll be listed, they'll tell you what time, you log in, you put your password in, and you'll be able to join the head coaches in a meeting where they'll talk to you about the seasons, okay? All of that will be provided on your emails, so make sure you're looking, okay? And if anybody has any questions, my office is the bottom end of the building. Anybody need any help? These guys over here are tremendous. They will tell you everything you need to know and probably more than you need to know, okay? It's a great group over there, so use their knowledge, use the knowledge of the people up here, okay? I'm introducing Mr. Adebato, the head of guidance. No, they do.
Good morning. As Mr. Hart said, my name is Mr. Adebato. I'm the Director of Counseling at the high school. Hopefully you can all hear me. Just going to be quick. So we all met, those of you that are Marshall Simons, I don't know if you remember, we met way back in the fall. We went over the unit program we used at the high school called Navion. We did a personality assessment. May or may not remember that, but we do remember. So we didn't get to see everyone's face at one point back in 8th grade. So just a couple things. You're all going to be assigned a counselor. The counselor is on your details page on Aspen. You'll have the same counselor for all 4 years. Okay? So as long as you're here, you'll have the same counselor. We like that model. The counselors are going to get to know you. Even in this new world, we're going to get to know you. We want to be a resource to you. Counselors are actually going to do an activity for you a little bit later today. And as Mr. Hart said, in terms of checking your email, you also need to check Aspen. Okay? I know some of you probably brought a hard copy of your schedule, but things are changing still to some extent, not major, but some classes might change. You really need to make sure you're looking at Aspen and looking at your schedule on Aspen. That's the live schedule. Okay? Keep that in mind. So that live schedule shows your room number, it shows your it will show your cohort, it shows teacher name, all that information. So please be sure for your schedule, check Aspen. The other thing is, if there is an issue with your schedule, if you show up, hopefully this doesn't happen, but if you were to show up to a class and the teacher says, you're not on my roster, don't panic. You would just come down to our main lobby, you get the tour, you'll see where it is. I'll be in the main lobby for any kind of schedule issue that arises, but hopefully that doesn't happen. You guys really do, you're lucky, you have great support here. The teachers are awesome, I think you're going to have a really good experience. And as we get going and used to this new normal for now, everyone adjusts. I think, everyone, as Mr. Sullivan said, it's all gonna pass at this point, but I just, again, wanted to welcome you to the high school. And if you have any questions, you can certainly ask me today, or you can send me an email. And next is who?
Ms.
Who
Shields.
am I announcing?
Mr. Adebato.
Yes,
Ms. Shields.
Ms. Shields. Okay, Ms. Shields is our school nurse.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Mrs. Shields. I'm one of the nurses. There's two of us up here at the high school. The other nurse is Mrs. Pascal. Just want to introduce myself and tell you my office is right across from the main office. We're also going to have 2 rooms this year. One room is if you're not feeling well, you go to that room, and the other room is if you get injured or if you have some other issues that really might not have to do with you really being sick. You're going to go to the, okay. You're going to go to the nurse's office across from the main office, and you'll see our names are above the door, and we'll make sure you guys know where that is. Please do not hesitate to come down at any time if you're not feeling well. We will take care of you. We don't want you to worry about like thinking you might get contaminated or anything like that. We have that all taken care of. We're going to put certain kids in one room and the kids that we don't feel are really sick in another room, so you'll be fine. And please don't call your parent on your way down and go to the bathroom and stop. If you don't feel well, we'd like you to come right down. As soon as you get down to me, you can call your parent. We always let you call your parents if you don't feel well, and we will let you go home if you don't feel well as well. There's a little checklist that's getting sent home for your parents and for you. We want you to check your temperature before you come to school in the morning. Make sure you're not sick. Don't take Tylenol if you have a fever. But that's sort of more for your parents to worry about. The other thing is I did notice a couple kids, not maybe in this room, but you might have a mask on with the valve. Those, you can't wear those to school. No valve mask to school, just so you know for the future. What else? Again, I just want to reiterate that if you do not feel well, please do not hesitate to come down. We will take care of you. We will make sure that you're safe. We have all kinds of things set up for you. If you have a slight headache and you just need to lie down, we have a safe place for you to do that, so you don't have to go home. But if you're really not feeling well, we will get you home very quickly, and hopefully you will all stay very healthy this year. If you have any questions or concerns, please come down and see us. Again, we are right across from the main office, and we will see you for any reason at all. So if you're just upset about something, you come down and see us, or if you're not feeling well, come down as well. And I hope we have a great beginning of the year. Nice to meet everybody. And Mr. Fournier is going to talk next.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm the school resource officer, so if you were at Marshall Simons last year, you had Officer Shepard or Officer Costa. So I pretty much do the same thing here at the high school. And really my main job is to help keep you guys safe along with the administration. So I know Mr. Sullivan mentioned it, but my office is right next to Mr. Sheehan's and Ms. Deacon. So if you go down the hallway, if you're looking at the main office and you go left all the way down on the left, that's our office. So if you have any questions about anything, any problems come up, please make sure you see somebody. One big thing I always try to stress, we have a safe school. There's not too much stuff that goes on here as far as anything dangerous or anything like that. But if you're having a problem with another student, whether it's outside of school, whether it's online, social media, whatever the problem is, okay, make sure you come down and see one of us, okay? I will guarantee you it might be the first time you're dealing with the problem. Mr. Sheehan and Ms. Deacon and myself, we've probably dealt with the same problem 100 times. So come see us. Don't try to solve your own problems as far as problems with another student in the building, or if you have a problem outside of school over the weekend, come down and see us. You know, we can talk anonymously if it's a safety issue in the school. And again, we don't have too many of those, but if there is something that's happening in the school, chances are you are going to know about it before we do, okay? So please, again, you can come down anonymously, you can talk to us, just tell us what's going on, and we'll take care of it. There's a lot of other stuff we do here as a police department. We run internship programs. Any of you want to be police officers in the future? We run self-defense programs for the girls when you're seniors. But those are kind of down the road, and you know, we have some other things that we can talk about as you guys move along here into your sophomore, junior, and senior years. But have a great year, everybody. Anything I can help you with, again, just stop by and see me down in my office. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Officer Fournier. All right, I just wanted to talk a little bit. We have a mentor program here at the high school. We've had it for a number of years. And Mr. Sullivan touched on it briefly earlier, but one of the things I always like to point out is that right now, of course, we're limited. Our mentor program is about 60 mentors and a leadership team of 9 mentor leaders. There's some juniors and seniors that make up the leadership team, and then there's another 60 mentors who make up the program, all juniors and seniors. But there's about 25 of them here today who took a day out of their summer schedule to come here and help you feel a little bit more comfortable in your adjustment to the high school. Okay, and that says something about us as a school and as a school community. And frankly, I think we're small enough. I'd like to consider us as a family because we're small enough that we get to know each other really well. And these people really care about your transition and making things okay and smooth and making you feel better about your high school experience. So the way the mentor program works, okay, and I'm going to describe how it has worked. It's going to be different in the future, obviously, but in the mentor program itself, each mentor will be assigned 5 freshmen. Okay, so you'll be assigned a mentor, all right, 1 junior or 1 senior, and we will meet monthly. Okay, and we have an activity block, and kind of the way it's working right now is it looks like Tuesdays and Fridays. There's an activity block at the end of the day, and at some point we'll probably do that, but it's a monthly meeting generally for the first 6 months of school. But it doesn't have to just be limited to that one meeting. Once you get to know your mentor, you can use them as a friend and go to them for some advice or just general answers, okay? But that's how that'll work, is generally there should be 1 monthly meeting. I'm not quite sure what that's going to look like yet. We'll figure that out as the school year progresses, and at some point, I would think probably in October, you'll be able to meet your mentor. They haven't even been assigned yet, so there hasn't been someone out there with attached to your name. After this morning, we've got a speaker coming in. After the speaker, we're going to do a guidance exercise, and then after the guidance exercise is concluded, that's when I'm going to take a mentor and probably 5 of you guys and say, all right, you can tour the building now, okay? And then they'll take you around. You'll have about a half an hour stretch of time to walk through the building and understand even just the traffic flow. Even if I describe the traffic flow to you right now, unless you've been in this building before, you'll have no idea what I'm talking about, so I won't even bother. But you can walk the building, and then, like I said, at the conclusion of your touring the building, then you're going to end up at the cafeteria. The mentors will take you to the caf, at which point, and then you'll be receiving your iPads. Okay? Questions with that at this point? Now, the mentors put on a little video for you. Now, I'm going to caution you, none of these actors are professionally trained actors, so let's just keep that in the back of our mind as we watch our video. Starring Marina and Company.
This year at BHS is going to be a little bit different. We're going to get through it, and I'm here to walk you through it.
A new change is that we're only allowed to walk down hallways. This is A-Hall.
Another change that we have this year is that we're not allowed to be in our libraries.
Down, these are classrooms now. This is music hall. This is the only hall where you're allowed to walk both up and down.
Oh, my mask!
This doesn't help, so you're better off just asking someone for help.
This is B hall, where you're only allowed to go up the hallway. A hall, you're only allowed to go down. The entire school is going to be counterclockwise all the way around. That means you can't be walking on both sides of each hall.
A-Hall, you can only go up all the stairwells, and then once you get to B-Hall, these are the stairwells that you can walk down. These are the sanitizing stations. There's multiple throughout each hallway.
This year is a little different. As you can see, the desks are spread apart, and you have assigned seats this year. And if you're ordering lunch, you'll have to do it the night before, but you can also bring your own lunch here.
Stop! This is A-Hall. You can only go down.
Stop! What are you doing? That's not water. It's hand sanitizer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Marina, stop talking! I didn't know you were videoing.
No more chocolate milks?
It's at your seat. You have to order right before. It's waiting for you.
Seriously?
Excuse you? You're in my assigned seat. Can you please get up? Stop! You need your own water bottle to get water.
Can't drink anything. Lastly, always wear your masks and stay 6 feet apart. This year is definitely going to be different, so remember that we have to look on the bright side of things, and we're going to get through this together.
Maddie, we're good? All right, thank you, gang. One last thing I wanted to remind you of is that, mentors, make sure you include this in your tour. At the very end of the music hall, which is behind me, is room 164. That's the isolation room. That's the room that you'll go to after you see the nurse if you have any symptoms or you're feeling sick and you don't feel well at all. Even if you just don't feel well at all, it'll be the isolation room. But you can ask the teacher will send you down, the nurse will meet you. But make sure, mentors, that you'll include that in the tour at the very end of the music hall. And like Sydney said, the music hall is the only hall that has two-way traffic in it. And there's no other hall in this building that has two-way traffic, just so you know. So everything's one way, and these guys should be able to show you that, all right? Does that make sense? All right, questions now? All right, I'm going to ask Ms. Deacon to come on up and introduce our speaker today.
Thank you, Mr. Sheehan. Thank you. All right, so you have to have your A game for this presentation, okay? You have to have your energy, and if you don't have it, you're going to have it before you leave. We are so lucky in this pandemic that we were able to get Mr. Garrity here live and in person, because so much of what we're doing now is virtual. So he's going to have the whole stage to run about, and you're going to have the pleasure of listening this morning to Mr. Ed Garrity. So, mentors, help us out, because you know how good this is. Let's give a Burlington welcome to Mr. Ed Garrity.
Thank you very much. So I'm visiting a small first grade classroom, and the first thing that I noticed when I walked into this first grade classroom are the chairs. Because the chairs are down real low, real small, colorful, bright pictures all around the classroom. I walk in, and the teacher says, "Class, please say hello to our special guest, Mr. Garrity." The next thing you know, 18 of the cutest little first graders you've ever seen all go in unison. "Hello, Mr. Garrity." Everyone, repeat. Now, I can't hear you. I asked them, "How are you today, class?" They all went, "Good." I asked them, "Does anybody have any questions?" Boom, as you can imagine, all the hands went up. I went, "You right there." I go, "What's your name?" This little girl went, "Kelly." "What's your question, Kelly?" "Is it true? How come?" "Well, because yesterday I just forgot." Oh, that happens to me all the time. I'll come back to you in a little bit. "Are you over there? What's your name?" This little guy stands up and he goes, "Chip." I'm like, "What's your question, Chip?" He goes, "Mr. Garrity, would you like to see what it is that we're doing?" I said, "Sure." Next thing you know, Chip walks over to the windowsill of the classroom. So I get up and follow Chip. 17 other first graders get up and follow me. And what does Chip do? He goes to that windowsill and he reaches up and he pulls down a milk carton that's been cut in half, and he holds it carefully, and he goes, "Look, Mr. Garrity, look what we're doing." Center of the milk carton, halfway filled up with dirt, was this little green thing coming out of the center. Now, being the excited person that I am, I looked at Chip, and I went, "Whoa, what are you doing in there, Chip?" All the kids were like, "Whoa, what's his problem?" I asked him, "You growing a big giant tree in there?" He goes, "No, Mr. Garrity, we're growing a flower." "Tell me, Chip, how'd you grow that flower?" He gets right into my face, and he goes, "First thing we had to do, Mr. Garrity, is we had to get some good dirt. Not bad dirt, but good dirt." And his little buddy next to him went like this. "Then what?" He said, "Well, then everybody in the class was given one seed, and the teacher said we better not eat it because we're not getting another." So I held the milk carton to check out to see if Chip's name was on the bottom of it or to see whose name was on it. But there was no name on it. And so I looked at Chip and I asked him, "Chip, is this yours?" He said, "Yes." "Well, no." "Well, which one is it?" "I'm not really sure." "You're not really sure? You mean to tell me, Chip, that the 17 other milk cartons all along that windowsill, not one of them have a name on it?" "No, Mr. Garrity." "Well, then tell me, Chip, how do you know which one is whose?" He looked at me, this little first grader, and he said, "Well, we don't, Mr. Garrity. We just take care of everyone's." And his little buddy next to him quickly said, "And then we get to take them home." All of us here this morning, we all know the important lessons that were being taught to those first graders. And those lessons are just as important today, right now, if not more important, as we begin our journey here at Burlington High School. And in the time that I have with you here today, I'm going to share with you some areas that will help us to grow and to work together to make our first year, and yet all of our years here at Burlington High School, be the best they can be. And let's give it up for that right here, right now. Here we go. Yep. And that starts and continues with our attitude, our mindset. Because here's the reality. We all know it. We cannot control the events and the challenges and the unexpected things that happen to us, not just in school, but in life. But we can choose how to respond to those events, those challenges, those unexpected things. Wearing these things. And one of the things that will always determine whether or not we respond to those challenges effectively or not begins with and continues with our attitude, our mindset. Because here at Burlington High School and beyond, we can always choose our mindset, our attitude. Some of you are familiar with the work done by a professor at Stanford University by the name of Carol Dweck. She spent over 10 years doing research on achievement and success. And here's what she found. She found that basically in life you can have one of two mindsets. You can have a fixed mindset that says, yeah, your success here at Burlington High School will be based on your innate traits, your gifts, your talents, and that's it. You're good at what you're good at, and that's all. Or you can make the choice here at BHS and beyond to have a growth mindset. This is your success here and in life. Part of it will be based on your innate traits, your gifts, and your talents, but a huge part of your success and your achievement will be based on your resilience, your determination, your grit, your ability to make the choice to get up one more time than when you fall. You are a part of a generation that will redefine what it means to be resilient, to be determined, to persevere, to overcome. It's starting right here, right now. And you should be acknowledged for that. The courage to walk these hallways, the courage to walk into this school, to stand up for your greatness and to stand up for the greatness of others, to persevere through anything. Let me give you an example of the power of a growth mindset. Could everyone please stand up? Yep, everyone please stand up. And if you're at home watching this, I need you to please stand up too. Right there in your home, in your space, please stand up. Don't just sit there. I need you to stand up too. What I'd like you to do now is this. Take both feet. Put both feet close together. Hands down by your side. Now I'd like everyone, and I mean everyone, to give me one big power clap. Come on, give me two. Come on, give me three. Yeah, here it comes. Give me a big hoorah. Yeah, some of you are like, whoa, where did that come from? All right, so what I'm going to have you do in a moment is this, okay? Let's play big here, okay? In a moment, I'm going to have you take your right arm. And if you're at home and you're still sitting down, I need you to please stand up. Yep, I can see you. Not really, but. All right, so what I'd like you to do right now is this. Take your right arm, put it up at eye level, all right? And then what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you then in a moment, as soon as I say go, I'm going to have you go as far back as you can to your right with that arm, and I want you to look where you're pointing. Mark that point in your mind, come back around, wait for the next step. Here we go. Go as far back as you can to your right with that arm. Look where you're pointing. Look where you're pointing. Mark the point. Mark it in your mind. Now come back around. Raise your hand up high if you have that point marked. Great job. Hands down by your side. Now I need you to look down at your feet, and then I want you to block everything else out around you. I want you to pretend it's just my voice and you here in this room. I want you to picture the color of the t-shirt, the color of the sweatshirt that you're wearing. I want you to picture now just in your mind and in your mind only. I want you to picture that right arm going up at eye level. And I want you to picture it now going in slow motion to the point that you just marked. And now I want you to picture that arm going beyond that point. I want you to picture the arm going 360 degrees, completely around, effortlessly and easily. Great job. Slowly wind yourself again in your mind. Picture again the right arm going up at eye level. And picture it now whipping around not just once, but now 2 times, effortlessly and easily, completely around. Great job. Slowly wind yourself again in your mind. Picture again the right arm going up at eye level once, twice, 3 times, completely around. Great job. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. Now take your right arm, please. Put it up at eye level. Yep. Now go as far back as you can to your right, and look where you're pointing. Yeah, how many people went past their first point? Raise your hand up way up high if you went past your first point. Look around, please. Look around. Awesome. Give your neighbor an invisible high five and have a seat. Come on, show me with your hands. Show me with your hands. How much farther did you go that second time? Show me with your hands, please. This much, that much? Yeah. I know who stayed up late last night or who's a little bit tired, because some of you, when I said look down at your feet, some of you kind of went like this. I did this exercise last week, and everybody came back to sit down. There was one student still in the corner going like this. Whoa, dude. What this exercise reminds us and what it demonstrates is that here at Burlington High School, you can always go farther than you think you. Come on, Burlington. We can always go farther than we think we. Come on, say it like you mean it. I want to hear it right through the mask. Here we go. Ready? We can always go farther than we think we. Because everything we do in our life, we do twice. We do it first up here in our mind, and then we do it in our actions. Our attitude, everyone, our mindset is incredibly powerful, and it will set the foundation for us making our first year here be the best that it can be. And our attitude sometimes can be influenced without us even realizing it. And you and I, we need to be aware of that. For example, like what color is this white piece of paper? Everybody answer the question. What color is the paper? What color is it? Louder, what color is it? Say white quickly 3 times. What color is it? What color is it? Yeah, say white quickly 3 times. Louder, what color is it? Answer the question. What do cows drink? Cows drink water, right? Water. How many said milk? Come on, be proud. Yeah, some of you are pulling out your phones like, dear mom and dad, learning new things already. I had the principal of a high school up on stage once, and I said to this principal, I said, say the word fort 3 times. And this principal went, fort, fort, fort. I said, spell it. He went F-O-R-T. I said, quickly, sir, what do you eat soup with? He got right in my face in front of the entire school, and he went, a fork. So I'm told the next day a bunch of teachers got together, put like 15 spoons on his desk. Would you like another example? Yes or no? Oh, I can't hear you. Yes or no? All right, now give me more alerts. You're going to catch on now, okay? Everyone say most. Say host. Say roast. Come on, coast. Host. Come on, host, toast, toast. Yeah, what do you put in a toaster? Bread. Nice job. Those of you who said toast, that's okay, because yesterday I had a student in the front row. I go, what do you put in a toaster? And they went, an Eggo. All right, I'll give you one more. Say top. Come on, say top. Come on, say top, top, top. Come on, T-O-P, T-O-P. Can't hear you in the back. Say top, top, top. Come on, top, top, top. T-O-P, T-O-P. Yep, top, top, top. Yeah, what do you do at a green light? You go at a green light. You go at a green light, right? Come on, give me one big power clap. Come on, give me 2. Come on, give me 3. Oh, come on, give me a big hoorah. Oh, Burlington, I'm so fired up to be here this morning. I really am. You know why I'm fired up to be here? Because I know this. I don't know what worked out for you or didn't work out for you last year. But starting right here, right now, you have a new chapter to write here at Burlington High School. You get to be who you want to be here. You do get to do the things you want to do. You get to stand up for your greatness. That is your choice. And that chapter, last year, it's over with. It's done with. And let's give it up for that. Come on. So here's the question I get. The question I get from high school students, college students all across North America is this. Okay, Ed, look. I know how great is it to have a positive attitude. I know how important it is to remind myself that I can always go farther than I think I can. But what I want to know, Ed, is like, how do I keep that positive attitude? How do I keep that growth mindset? Changes and challenges of school and life. I'm going to give you some core areas to help you do just that. And the first is this, and that is that when we have the choice to do so, to make sure that we surround ourselves with positive people. Because who we hang out with, everybody, when we have the choice to do so, who we connect with, it plays a huge role, not only just in terms of how we feel, it plays a huge role in the choices and the decisions that we make. Because one of the greatest influences in our life, beyond ourselves, beyond our faith and our values, is the company that we keep. All growing up, almost my whole life, my dad would always remind me, remember, Ed, there are 2 things that will separate you from others, the books that you read and the company that you keep. We see this right around the NFL draft or a professional league draft time, where players are at the top of the list, when all of a sudden they look beyond the game film and they ask, well, who are they hanging out with on campus and who are they hanging out with when they go back home? And when they start to see some of the company that they keep, their draft pick goes from up here all the way down to here, if not completely off the list. So when we have the choice to do so, we surround ourselves with those positive people, those who support us, those who encourage us, those who see you for the extraordinary person that you are. It's not just who we surround ourselves with, though. It's also what we surround ourselves with. And what I mean by that is this. I'm talking about the quotes, the pictures, the things that inspire you, the things that remind you of where you want to go and of what you can achieve. Because what you think about here at Burlington High School, you will attract. What you focus on here, it will expand. Here's an invitation for you. I invite you to go and create what is called a dream board. A what? Dream board is simply this. You go and you get a poster board and you find a picture of yourself and you glue it right into the center of the poster board. Now, it's not an ego thing like, hey, there I am. And then you go to like 7 to 10 magazines, and you go through these magazines, and you find pictures of your goals and of your dreams and of where you want to go and of what you want to achieve. Words that inspire you, places you want to see, things you want to experience, who you want to become. It is not a collage of pretty pictures. It truly is a dream board, a vision board. My friend Snowden McFall, a great author, great speaker, she shared this exercise with me 28 years ago. My dear best friend, Deb Deacon, she knows this. For the past 28 years, I've made one dream board. And it's powerful to look back to see all those 28 dream boards and see certain goals and dreams on those dream boards that now become a reality. Whether it was speaking in all 50 states, running the Boston Marathon 3 times, becoming a published author, finding my soulmate. Is that it, Ed? You just put the picture up and it comes true? No, it keeps you focused. And it reminds you why you're not playing small but playing big. This is the time right now, right here, to reset, to step up. Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? You get to make that choice. And if you're not sure really where you want to go, what you want to be yet, that's okay. That's why you do the dream board, the vision board. Do you know who else knows the power of this? Ask Derek Jeter. Yeah, baseball icon, New York Yankees. From the time he was in the 8th grade, had a picture of Yankee Stadium in his bedroom at home. Yeah, his dream board. Ask Tom Brady, last time he won the Super Bowl. Every time he walked into TV 12, there was a giant clock counting down on the date and time of the Super Bowl. His dream board. Ask Alex Morgan, professional soccer player, who talks about how when she was in her teens, she had the pictures of the players she dreamed of one day being like, which today she now has surpassed. Ask Beyonce, who slated at the VMA Awards. At least that's what it said on Twitter. Slate's not really in my vocabulary. Can you see my wife texting me? Hey, honey, how was Burlington High School? Great, honey, I slayed it. But in Rolling Stone magazine, Beyonce talks about how when she was growing up, she had pictures of the artist she dreamed of one day singing with, which today she now has done. And those examples go on and on and on. And if you don't want to do the magazines and the cutout like that, then create a virtual dream board. Get on the Google Images, find your goals and your dreams, words that inspire you, bring it into a Google Doc, and make that be a screensaver for your computer, a screensaver for your phone. So every day you wake up and you see it, it's right there. And it reminds you why you're not playing small here, but playing big. That nothing can stop you in your future. It's who we surround ourselves with. It's what we surround ourselves with. It's also about reminding ourselves every single day to be incredibly curious and to jump in and get involved from day one here at Burlington High School. When you ask seniors in high schools across the country, what do they wish they had done differently in their 4 years of high school? What comes back number one is, I wish I got involved from day one. I wish I got more involved from day one. I wish I hadn't waited till my junior year to really get involved with some of the organizations that I got involved in. I wish I had tried out for that team. I wish I had tried out for that play. I wish I had picked up that musical instrument way back in my freshman year instead of waiting until my senior year to pick it up. Your great responsibility here at Burlington High School is to be curious, to step in and get involved from day one, to be curious. You're going to be given an opportunity here at Burlington High School to take those big dreams that you have and start to turn them into clear and specific measurable goals. For example, right now, some of you here might have a goal like this, and it's this. Ready? What's your goal? Well, I want to be a nurse. Okay, that's great. You want to be a nurse. But if we're going to make that really become a reality, we need to get more clear, more specific. So the question you ask yourself is, great, you want to be a nurse. If you could be a nurse anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, where would you love to be a nurse? I want to be a nurse in Boston. Okay, great. By what age? I want to be a nurse in Boston by the age of 24. Great. At any hospital in Boston, where would you love to be a nurse? I want to be a nurse at Mass General at the age of 24. Great. We're getting more clear, more specific. Do you see that? Great. What kind of nurse are we talking about? A pediatric nurse. Okay, add that to your goal. I want to be a pediatric nurse at Mass General at the age of 24. See how much more powerful that is already? But there's one word that we need to shift, we need to change. And that four-letter word is want. It's not I want here, it's I will. So we went from I want to be a nurse to I will be an amazing pediatric nurse at Mass General Hospital at the age of 24. You see the power of that? And when you get clarity on that, it gives you confidence, it gives you focus. So what I'd like you to do right now is this. I'd like you to stand up, please. Yep. And if you're at home, what I'd like you to do is I want you, instead of actually finding a partner, I'd like you to write down this exercise, and that is this. I want you to find a partner. Keep your distance. Just find a partner. Point to your partner. Just point to them so you know who they are. Yep. And if you still don't have a partner, team up with a pair next to you. And what I want you to do is this. I'd like you to now to share with your partner what's one of your big goals, big dreams. And I want your partner to coach you in getting clear and specific. I want to hear lots of I wills, all right? I want to hear colors, dates, times, places. You're going to have to speak loudly and clearly through your mask, okay? If you're at home right now, what I'd like you to do is just take out a clean piece of paper. If you can't find a partner at home to do this with, and just write down that goal of I will and try to get as clear and specific on it as you possibly can. Ready, go. All right, give your partner an invisible high five. Look him in the eye and say, you can do it. Have a seat, have a seat. I heard some of you, as soon as I said share with your partner what's one of your big goals, big dreams, and I heard some of you go, well, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know where I want to go. And guess what? That's okay. If you don't know where you want to go, what you want to do, you don't have to have it all figured out, all planned out. And if you do and you decide to change it, that's okay too. I was at Fordham University in New York City, and this senior orientation leader came up to me and says, "Hey, you were the guest speaker at my freshman orientation. Because I remember you. You brought me up on stage, and you had me go from I want to I will." I said, "You remember that?" He said, "Yeah." I go, "What was your goal?" He said, "I will be an Oscar award-winning director by the age of 40. I said, "That's so cool. You remember that?" I said, "So you still in film? Are you still in doing that?" He looked at me and said, "No." He said, "I did the film thing for like that first year, and then I realized it wasn't so much film that I loved, but it was music." He goes, "So I kind of changed course." He goes, "And now I have a new goal." I said, "What's that?" He says, He goes, "I will be an Emmy award-winning music producer, a Grammy award-winning music producer by the age of 30, living in New York City." Cool is that? I'm like, "So what are you doing now to get close to that goal?" He goes, "Well, now I have an internship with Sony in their international marketing department." It's awesome. It's not passion first, it's curiosity first. It's about taking positive risks. It's about trying new things, stepping outside of your comfort zone. Do you know that 80% of college students change their major once? The biggest mistake you can ever make in life is to live someone else's goals, to live someone else's dream. Your journey here at Burlington High School is about, curiosity. Finding out what it is that you are really passionate about, what you want to do, what you want your future to be all about. It is a new chapter. Once again, what will be that chapter? And if you haven't taken the time yet to really think about that, then you need to right now. Don't be at graduation 4 years from now on that football field saying, I wish, or I would, or I could have, should have, or someday. It's who we surround ourselves with. It's what we surround ourselves with. It's reminding ourselves that we can always go farther than we think we can. It's going from I want to I will. Look, everything comes down to your choice. That's what we're really talking about here this morning. Your choice. You get to choose your attitude. You get to choose who you hang out with. You choose your environment, creating what you surround yourself with, the dream board, the vision board. It's also the choices that we make in terms of, our social media, what we text, what we post, what we comment, and what we share. Because we all know in this room, delete does not mean that it's gone. Delete just means that we can no longer see it. In the world that we live in today and tomorrow, it's not just how we represent ourselves to our friends and our peers. It is how we represent ourselves to the entire world through our social media. And we hear it every year now where young men and young women are given academic full scholarships to the colleges and universities of their choice, only to have them instantly taken away because of an inappropriate post, TikTok video that is discovered by them. It's also the choice that we make in terms of how we treat one another, how we resolve a conflict, our goals, our dreams, the relationships that we get involved in, what we do socially. It's about reminding ourselves every single day that we have that choice to have that respect for ourselves and that respect for one another, that we don't know everything about anyone, and just how important it is to just never ever just judge a book by its cover. I'll always remember I was having lunch with a group of students in their cafeteria. And we're hanging on this cafeteria and we're just talking about the same things that maybe you and I would be talking about. Music, sports, where I'm from, movies. All of a sudden, cafeteria table right next to us, I hear and I see this. 4 students. 2 ladies, 2 gentlemen. I hear one of the young ladies at this table go just like this. And she went, look at him over there, you guys, look at him. See, the other end of their table, sitting by himself, is a young man eating his lunch. And she goes, look at him. Look, he has the same shirt on he's had on for like the past week. Can you believe it? What a loser. They'll start laughing at this table. One of the guys, same group, goes, yeah, man, he's in one of my classes. Such a joke. What? So I look over to see if the young man can hear what it is they're saying about him. I know that he can. Why? Because now the young man is eating his lunch like this. And he's getting closer and closer to the sandwich that he's quickly trying to finish. And after about 10 seconds of me hearing this and seeing it, I can't take it. Not only because I know that it's wrong, and not only because I know that as a bystander, I have a responsibility to stand up and say that it's wrong, or to go get help to help me stop it, or to remove him right from the situation. But also, I know something about that young man that they do not know. Something the principal of that school had shared with me earlier that morning about him. So I get up for him sitting. I walk right over to these 4 students. And by the way, the 4 students, were they like 6th graders? No. 3rd graders? No. All 4 of them, Burlington. Seniors in high school. Excuse me, can I just speak to the 4 of you, please, outside in the hallway for a moment? One of the young ladies looks at me. She goes just like this. Who are you? I said, my name's Ed Garrity. I'm just a guest here. Can I speak to the 4 of you, please, outside in the hallway for a moment? One of the guys now speaks up. Hey, can you say what you got to say right now? I mean, lunch is pretty quick around here. I ask again. 2 ladies get up first. 2 guys get up next. And they go out into the hallway, and I ask them, you know the young man you're making fun of a moment ago? One of the guys steps forward to get right into my face, to challenge me. And he goes, yeah, what's the big deal? Do you want to know why he probably has the same shirt on for the past week, I asked him. I don't know, because he's a loser. You know who's been going the past week? Half an hour before school gets out. You know, to beat all the cars, all the buses up front. His mother picks him up out front of school, and they drive an hour and a half together to the children's hospital to go see his little brother, who's very sick. He spends the night next to his little brother. You see his little brother's scared, and they're best friends, and it's the only brother he's got. He gets up at 5:30 in the morning and then drives back to school with his mom. Did you know that? I asked him. Hey, did you know that? 4 students went. Well, we didn't know. Yeah, well, we didn't know. I looked at them. Was the last thing I ever said to them was, how were you supposed to know? And then I watched them quietly walk back in to go finish their lunch. Then I went in to look for the young man, but the young man, everyone, he was already gone. Big school couldn't find him afterwards either. As we grow and as we work together to make this school year be the best that it can be, we must remind ourselves and remind one another that we do not know everything about anyone. We don't know everyone's story. In another phrase, we don't know what's really behind the mask. And before we go and make a comment about somebody or make a judgment about somebody or to get a cheap laugh from our friends, just remind yourself, do you know what happened to that person maybe this morning before they came to school? Do you know what some of their family's going through, what they've been through? Do you know where they live before they moved this part of Massachusetts? A student asked me a while back, Mr. Garrity, you're saying we're supposed to just be respectful to the people around us just because they might have something going on in their life that we don't know about? Yes, I am. But I'm also saying that we are to have that respect and that compassion for one another, to let one another know, hey, I see you and you matter and I got your back just because. Because we are all unique and different. We are all in this together. And we must celebrate what makes us different, embrace what we have in common. That's how we grow, work together, make the school year be the best that it can be. That's how we reach our full potential. That's how we continue to reach out and make a difference. Remember, our words and our actions will always do 2 things. They'll either tear people down or build people up. Another great choice we have the opportunity to make every day is that choice to be grateful. Grateful for our abilities, for the opportunities that lie before us, and for the people in our life. If there is anything this pandemic has reminded us, it's to appreciate the little things. And yet, even in a pandemic like this, it's still easy to take certain things for granted. Whether it's our ability right now to be able to see or our ability right now to be able to hear. Yes, to get up from where we're sitting and walk right out of here. And yes, to have the freedoms and opportunities that we have living in the country that we live in. I'll never forget, I was walking off a stage when a 13-year-old by the name of Brett came up to me, completely blind. Now, wants to see a beautiful day. And he comes up to me and he goes, Mr. Garrity, my name's Brett. I was just wondering if I get an idea of what it is that you look like. I said, sure, Brett. Next thing you know, Brett takes his little hand and he reaches way up and puts it right on my face like this. After a few moments, he went like this to my face. I'm like, okay, Brett, what do I look like? He smiled real big and he took his hand, he put it right on top of my head and he said, well, you're about this tall. And then he began to describe my face and how he imagined it to be. And as I talked with Brett, as I hung out with Brett, I could see that he had a great sense of gratitude, a great sense of appreciation for the abilities that he still had, abilities that were going to help him persevere, be resilient, have that growth mindset, make his dreams come true. And still, yet, Burlington High School, I think that one of the only times we truly realize how often is we might sometimes forget to be grateful for what it is that we have in our lives is when we lose somebody close to us. Because it is at those moments that we are truly reminded of what is most important in life. And we begin to reflect and even say to ourselves, I wish I could just call that person one more time, write that person one more letter. Tell that person those 3 words that are the most important words of all, I love you. As we grow older, we need to say those I love yous and those I care about yous and those thank yous and I appreciate yous, not less, but even more. Because one thing you'll discover here at Burlington High School and beyond, that as you grow and develop as a leader, people don't care how smart you are, how talented you are, what title you have after your name, until they know how much you care. And that caring starts with living and leading our lives with gratitude. Here's an invitation for you if you don't do it already. Just every night before you go to bed, just ask yourself one last question. What are 5 things that I'm grateful for about today? Sometimes there'll be small things. Sometimes there'll be big things. But it'll reframe the day, and it will set you up to win the next one. Let the people in your life know how much you appreciate them, beyond just a quick text message. How many of you here in this room right now have a cell phone on you, right now? Raise your hand up high. Awesome. Here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to please stand up. Please stand up. I'd like you to pull out your cell phone, please. And turn it on, make sure it's on. Yeah. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes right now. I want you to call a loved one, a family member, and I want you to just call that person and say, hey, I'm here at Burlington High School at an orientation program, and this guest speaker was talking to us about how important it is to appreciate the people in our life, and the first person I thought of was you, and I just wanted to call you and tell you I love you. And maybe it's even the person that drove you to school this morning. Maybe it's the person that stayed up all night worried about you and your safety. I know my wife and I, we didn't sleep last night as our son Ryan begins his sophomore year, as our daughter Shannon begins her 8th grade year. Hey, thank you. Thank you for everything you've been doing for me. Thank you for worrying for me. Thank you. I love you. Appreciate you. Thanks for being there. Thanks for having my back. Let's make the call. You got 2 minutes. Go. Just tell the person, say, okay, I'll talk to you later. I got to go. Just raise your hand up high if you're off your phone. If you're off the phone, raise your hand up way up high. Awesome. Can you do me a favor? Can you give yourselves a big round of applause for doing that? It's not always an easy thing to do. Put your emotions out there, especially feelings like that, to be vulnerable. I used to ask a different question to little kids when I would talk with them about being grateful. I used to ask these little kids if they had 1 hour to live, who would they call and what would they say and why haven't they done it? A little intense for 3rd graders. One day I had this little guy in the front row and he was like, yo, pick me, pick me, pick me. I'm like, okay, who'd you call? And he was completely serious. He said, I'd call 911. All his buddies around him were like, oh, that's good. Can I change mine? I had another gentleman up. I go, who would you call? And he said, I'd probably call my sister. So I brought him up and I said, let's call her up. And he turned a pale white and he was like, oh, man. He goes, we don't have to. And I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, yeah, she's up there in the bleachers. So we're in a high school gymnasium, like 1,500 students. He's a senior, she's a freshman. And so I looked at him and I said, let's go tell her. So we walked all the way up the 9th grade section of bleachers and we get to the sister. And the sister now is as red as a tomato. And all of her friends around her are all going like this. Oh, my God. Except for one who's taking a selfie. And she looks at her brother and she goes, you are ruining my life. And he looks at his sister in front of the entire school and goes, hey, look, sis, I know we've been through a lot together, but you know that I'll always be there for you and I love you a lot. It's about leading our lives with gratitude. It's having the right kind of attitude. It's who we surround ourselves with. It's what we surround ourselves with. It's being curious. It's not I want, it's I will. It's reminding ourselves that every day we have an opportunity to reach out and make a difference. A hello, a kind word, a helping hand. Never let the small percentage of people who do not respond back in kind to you stop you from reaching out to the next one. I was just reading a great Native American tale yesterday about a Cherokee elder. He was teaching his grandson about life. And he said to his grandson, he said, I have these 2 things fighting inside of me, these 2 wolves. And they're fighting inside of me and they're going back and forth. And the grandson asked his grandfather, well, what do you mean? What are the wolves? He said, well, one wolf is evil, filled with greed and frustration and anger and ego and scarcity and overwhelm and everything. That's the evil wolf over here. He goes, then I have this good wolf over here too that's filled with hope and faith and passion and resiliency. And they're battling back and forth and they're fighting inside of me. In fact, we all have these 2 wolves fighting inside of us. grandson was quiet for a little bit. Then he said, hey, Grandpa? I said, yeah. What wolf wins the fight? The grandfather looked at the grandson and he said, the wolf that you feed. We have a great choice here today to feed that great wolf, the one filled with faith and hope, perseverance, resiliency. That's how we're going to make this year be a great year. Our choice. Your choice. You know, when I was a little kid growing up, one of my favorite athletes to watch on television was a football player by the name of Walter Payton. Walter Payton played for the Chicago Bears. He was one of the greatest running backs in the history of the NFL. He played 13 years for the Chicago Bears. He missed one game. He wore number 34, and his nickname was Sweetness. Do you know how tough a player you have to be in the NFL to have a nickname like Sweetness? And I used to love watching him play because he never ran out of bounds. He'd always turn it up the field for a couple extra yards. His workouts in the offseason were legendary. He trained on this giant hill. You can see it on YouTube. In fact, the hill at Gillette Stadium right now at their practice facility is inspired by the Walter Payton Hill. The Philanthropy Award in the NFL is named the Walter Payton Award. His community service was extraordinary. And I always thought, man, it'd be so cool one day to meet Walter Payton. And then I started playing Pop Warner football, and what number did I pick? Say it loud. I used to tape my cleats like Walter Payton. I wore a towel on the side of my football pants like Walter Payton. I had a mouthpiece like Walter Payton. I was not as fast as Walter Payton. Fast forward my senior year in high school. I get a letter in the mail, and I'm invited to a leadership conference to sit in the audience and watch a group of individuals be recognized for their outstanding achievement and success in their particular field of work. And I look at the honorees, and I see Johnny Cash, the great musician, Winston Marsalis, the great jazz player, Tom Clancy, the great writer, Susan Butcher, the great dog sled racer from Alaska. And there on the list is Walter Payton, Chicago Bears. I said, I'm going to meet Walter Payton. I go to school the next day, I tell all my friends, all my teammates, I'm going to meet Walter Payton. They're like, Garrity, you're not going to meet Walter Payton. There's going to be 2,000 people at that conference. There's no way you're going to meet Walter Payton. I said, I will meet Walter Payton. 6 weeks later, I'm on a plane for the first time in my life down in Nashville, Tennessee, to the Grand Ole Opry Hotel, one of the largest hotels in North America. It was grand, it was old, I think it even had opera. The lobby was so big you could fit 3 football fields inside of it. I start walking around this lobby, and I start asking people, by any chance, have you seen Walter Payton? Hey, do you know if Walter Payton's checked in? Have you seen Walter Payton? One person says, I haven't seen Walter Payton, but you know who I just saw? I go, who? Walter Payton. Not Walter Payton, but Herschel Walker. I go, Herschel Walker? Heisman Trophy winner, played for the Dallas Cowboys, University of Georgia? How cool is that? One of the great football players of all time. Half an hour later, another guy walks up to me and goes, hey, weren't you looking for Walter Payton? I said, yeah, because I just saw him way over there across the lobby checking in. So I go all the way across the lobby and get to the front desk. Excuse me, do you know if Walter Payton's checked in? I'm sorry, sir, I can't tell you that. So I go all the way across the other end of the lobby, and I get behind a big plant, and I pick up the hotel lobby phone. Does anybody here know what Herschel Walker sounds like? Needed the person at the front desk. Front desk, can I help you? Hi, this is Herschel Walker. My friend Walter Payton just checked in a few moments ago. I was just wondering if you connect me to his room, please, so I can meet up with him before the big banquet tonight. Please. Please, please, please. Just 1 minute, Mr. Walker. I'll connect you. Walter had a high voice. Hello? Hi, Mr. Payton? Yes. Hi, Mr. Payton. My name's Ed Garrity. I'm from Merrimack, New Hampshire. Mr. Payton, I'm here. I'm just a huge fan of yours. I'm here for the big conference. Mr. Payton, look, I'm just a huge fan of yours. I would do anything to just meet you privately, one-on-one. Look, you and I have so much in common. I'm retiring from my high school football career. You're retiring from the NFL. You were captain of your team. I was captain of my team. We won a state championship in football this year. You won a Super Bowl. I was MVP of the week. You were MVP of the season. Mr. Payton, I would just do anything to just meet you privately, one-on-one. He goes, where are you now? I go, I'm in the lobby behind a big plant. He goes, can you meet me now? I said, yeah. He goes, okay, I'm in room 2310. Thanks so much, Mr. Payton. I hang up the phone, pick up my bag, has my camera, football cards, poster. 10 minutes later, I'm knocking on 2310, and there opens the door Walter Payton, jacked. He's got the kangaroo logo on his shirt. He goes, Ed, I'm like, Mr. Payton? He goes, come on in. I walk into the room, and across the room is his wife, Connie. He goes, hey, honey, this is the young man who just called a moment ago. She went, oh, hi, Ed. And before I could say anything to Mr. Payton, he goes, hey, congratulations. I go, congratulations for what? He goes, well, didn't you say on the phone that you won the state championship in football this year? I said, oh, yeah. He says, well, he looked down at my hand and he saw my championship ring. He goes, can I see it? So I was a little embarrassed. I took off this giant silver aluminum ring covered in blue glass. And I handed it to him, and he looked at the side, and he smiled, and I go, can I see yours? And he takes off his giant Super Bowl ring. And I look at it, and I'm like, Mr. Payton, I can't believe you didn't get a touchdown in the Super Bowl that you played in, that you won. And he looked at me, and he smiled, and he said, Ed, remember, it's not about touchdowns, it's about championships. And it's always about the team. Then he asked me about my mom, my dad. He asked me about my brothers, my sister. He asked me about my goals, my dreams. And I said, thank you so much, Mr. Payton, for taking the time. He says, no, thank you, Ed, for all your support, for being such a great big fan. Next thing you know, he goes, hey, honey, can we get that picture? Next thing you know, I have my arm around Walter Payton, his arm around mine. He takes the picture, signs the remaining football cards. I'm like, thanks so much, Mr. Payton. He goes, no, thank you, Ed. And as I go to walk out of the room, he says, hey, one more thing. And he goes to the desk, and he picks up his wallet. And he pulls out a blue business card. He goes, hey, this is my private contact information. This is my private number. If you ever need anything, he goes, you let me know. Thanks, Mr. Payton. So I walked out of there, and I wasn't sure if what had happened had just happened. But in my office are those signed football cards, that picture of Walter Payton and I, and at the center is that blue business card. And every time, Burlington, and I mean every time, I see that blue business card, I'm reminded about how one person took the time to meet with a 17-year-old kid from Merrimack, New Hampshire. He took the time to listen to my story. He took the time to say thank you. And with that blue business card, he took the time to say, you know what? I see you, and you matter. And I got your back. And that is my wish, and that is my challenge for all of you here as you begin your journey at Burlington High School. Yes, to take the time. To take the time to listen to one another's stories. To take the time, yes, to be grateful. To take the time to be positive, to persevere. To take the time to say, you know what? I see you and you matter, and I got your back. And that we're in this together. And you do that, you'll make your first year, you'll make all of your years here at Burlington High School be the best they can be. It was an honor and a privilege to be here this morning as you begin your journey here at Burlington High School. And I want to thank you for the gift of your time here today. Thank you very much. Just quickly, what I'd like you to do is this. Please stand up, and if you're at home, I'm going to have you write this down. What I'd like you to do is I want you to find a partner, so point, so you know that you have that partner. Point to the partner. Point to the partner, great. And I want you to share with your partner, and if you're at home, you're going to write these things down. I want you to share with your partner what are 5 things that you're excited about as you begin your journey here at Burlington High School. Ready, go. 5 things you're excited about as you begin your journey here at Burlington. Have a seat. Here we go. Give me one big power clap. Give me 2. Give me 3. Come on, give me a big hoorah. All right, I'm going to conclude here by doing an activity that's become a tradition here at Burlington High School for all the first-year students. Through the power of cooperation, teamwork, we're going to create the sound of a rainstorm here in this room, okay? And how that's going to work is this. I'm going to start over here. I'm going to give you a hand gesture, a hand motion to do. I want you to continue to do that hand motion, that hand gesture. And you got to do it nice and loud because we're spread out. Until I get to your section, I have you change it. And then at one point, I'm going to go like this. That means get ready. Because at that point, we're going to smack our hands up top. And that will be the sound of thunder. All right? So here we go. Let's make it rain. Here we go. Starting right here. Ready? I had to do it. Keep up, go. Parents gonna ask, what'd you do at school today? You're gonna say, we made rain. Give me one big power clap. Give me two. Give me three. Come on, give me a big hoorah. Let's make it a great first year. Thank you, Burlington High School. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ed Garrity. Let's give him a big round of applause, Burlington! Woo! This is why we start our year with Ed Garrity, because your potential now at Burlington High School is limitless. You have a fresh start, a clean slate. You can do anything you want to do, and that's what we want to excite you to do.